Originally, I only planned on making a challenge for one dungeon, but one thing led to another and now we have another dungeon. So you might be wondering, who is this mystery Pokemon that's gonna tackle the challenge head on? Well, it's Brandon, with 4 other Brandons behind him, becoming a 5-headed Hydra. No, I didn't use any mystical, mutated, mythical monster. Instead, we just used multiple versions of Brandon. Because as some people pointed out in the last video, that we could have used the other types of Brandons as well as part of the challenge. Like the continuation of an anime cliffhanger, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. This is part 2 of Brandon's bizarre adventure. So the first thing we needed to do was find Brandon. It's relatively easy because we know he only stands in one place waiting for his next potential victim to undertake his quest. When we came to get him, he told us there was a way to tap into his other forms. Brandon told us in order to unlock them, we had to kick the shit out of a lizard man with severe asthma. After we did his bidding, we obtained a wide assortment of Infinity Brandon stones, each with their own special abilities, and useless spells that don't contribute much of anything. As the Super Myth Brothers, or now the Super Myth and Balance Brothers, our next job involved an area known as the Giant Toilet Swirl Vortex. The locals call it Mirror Lake for some reason. The job was simple. Dive deep and unclog the shit that was stuck in there. Inside, we were stopped by a skinny Nosferatu-looking goblin with leprosy. He got in the way, so we had to call in our friend Brandon to teach him a lesson. Not just any Brandon, but the yellow-infused Mythstone one. This Brandon opened up with a powerful stench, which almost wiped the goblin and his weird golem-faced doll. The goblin became angry and tried to take him out. Brandon decided to retaliate against them by harnessing the power of the Yellowstone into a single spell. Unfortunately, the power was too great, and it made him lose focus. Brandon then proceeded to try again, for he knew it was fated for him to use this shitty spell. He believed in the heart of the cards, and we believed that he could take one of them out with his piddly ass damage. It didn't happen, but luckily divine intervention on his side did it for him. With the goblin gone, it was time to take out the ugly doll. Like the old man in SpongeBob that never learns, the goblin decided to come back. Sadly, he didn't have enough, so he wanted his ass beat again. Brandon didn't seem to want to beat him, rather he lightly spanked him. It didn't work out though, so instead he wised up and used an actual useful spell. After 20 rounds of nonsense, Brandon finally took the goblin out for the second time. As the goblin died, it let out a grotesque noise like a Madagascar hissing cockroach. As we explored these toilet waters, we came across a cave leading up to a mountain for some reason. At the top of the mountain, there was an old lady who summoned what looks like a poor cosplay of the village people. Regardless, she was in our way and we needed to take them down. The plan was to wait it out until they were done throwing out their tantrums, muscular magma boys, and bare-naked feral cavemen with horns. It came time to prepare for trouble, and to make it double. Double Brandon, in fact. This time, we invoked the powers of ice and storm. Although the playing field was now leveled, their heads were not. Since they do not have awareness of their own surroundings, they needed to be protected. You see, they don't play by the rules, so we must intervene sometimes, like a parent supervising their kid. After playing around for a little bit, they decided to get serious. For what it's worth, they deal critical hits very often. Now it does say it deals a critical hit, but usually it's a coin toss on whether or not it deals more damage. So of course, we did the only reasonable thing that we could do, which was set them up with buffs in hopes of them not using a shitty spell. Luckily, somewhere in their computational minds, they figured it out and was able to land a killing blow. When the battle was over, the crazy old lady spoke in gibberish and sung part of her unintelligible mixtape for her next album. It was no doubt to be a surefire hit, so we proceeded onward to see what else was in store. We were then confronted by some muscle-bound crab ants. For the next tag team extravaganza, we had Balance and Fire Brandon. They really weren't the best pair or a match made in heaven. A lot of the time, they kinda just fucked around and wasted our buffs. However, after a while, they got their act together and worked as a team, with Firebrandon contributing a lot to the success of this battle. In the end, we were able to crack the shell or squash these bugs. I don't fucking know what they are. Lastly, we got to the main root of the problem. The old lady decided to show us her neon glow-in-the-dark spider collection. Before we could make it safe for Brandon to come out though, we needed to sponge the damage, because otherwise he would die very easily. Brandon isn't a Bob nor a sponge, he's just a wizard in a magical world. If Pokemon has taught us anything, it is to go for weaknesses, which is exactly what we did. Although this Brandon may have the super effective advantage, it's basically like going in blind on a test you don't know the answers to. Brandon is a wild card. Sometimes he makes genius plays, other times it makes you question why he's even here. After a few devastating hits to the old lady's antique spiders, they were fed up and tried to get rid of Brandon. When you cut the head off a Hydra, 2 more heads grow back in place of it. Brandon though, he can't do that. Instead, he just comes back and keeps trying, like the hero in an anime. Luckily, with some careful planning and timing, he was able to take them all out. The old lady got mad and started busting out rhymes. So with that, can you beat Mirror Lake with just Brandon? Yeah, I mean, did you just watch the video or did you skip to the end? Anyway, if you're new to the channel, subscribing is just a click away. With that, take care and see you guys.